The former vice president joins me now from a Super Tuesday state, Montgomery, Alabama. Vice President Biden, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Well, thanks, Chuck, for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, let's start with your big win last night. How do you ensure that what happens in South Carolina doesn't stay in South Carolina?
I keep talking about the same things I've talked about, Chuck, about how we have to restore the soul of this country, bring back. Look, it's not about organizing the Democratic Party. It's about giving confidence to the American people that we can get the things done, which I believe we can get done. They're not looking for revolution. They're looking for results. They're looking for change. They're looking for movement forward. And so I think, and I'm going to continue to talk about the things I've been talking about, and including look, this is not just about wealth. This is about work being rewarded. So all the things I've talked about in the past, I'm going to continue to talk about, and I feel good about it.
When we last spoke about 2 weeks ago, there was a concern among many of your supporters that where was the urgency, where was the fire? You certainly showed it this last week. You showed the urgency. You showed the fire. How do you reassure those supporters that you will sustain this? Just watch me.
They just watch. A lot of supporters stepped up the last 24 hours. We raised over $5 million. Last night we've raised a considerable amount of money this month. Things are beginning to move, all online. And
$5 million
so
last night?
It feels good, Chuck. I mean,
by the way, $5 million last night?
Well, in the last 24
that's quite
hours.
the haul.
Yes.
Last 24 hours. Okay.
Well, it's online, and you know, things are moving. Look, we got outspent 40-1 in South Carolina, 40-1, and we won every single county, and we've now won more actual votes overall since this began, since the whole process began, than Bernie has won. And so, look, we're feeling good. And again, I take nothing for granted. I'm not going to be a pundit and say where I'm going to win and how I'm going to win. But if we win, it's going to be because of the message we have and because we're going to get something done.
Last night, you were trying to make this a two-person race. You essentially said you're either going to win big or lose big. And so do you believe Bernie Sanders would lead the Democratic Party to a big loss?
I do. I think Bernie Sanders' position on a number of the issues, even in the Democratic Party, are going to be very controversial. The idea that you're going to find $60 billion and not going to raise $1 trillion, I should say, not going to have to raise taxes on middle-class people. The idea that, you know, we're talking about immigration. I mean, if Bernie had voted for if we had passed the immigration bill that I voted for and Teddy Kennedy and others voted for about 10 years ago, we'd already have 6 million people who were undocumented American citizens. I mean, so there's a lot of talk. We're getting down now. Everybody's going to look at Bernie's record as closely as they've looked at mine over the last 5 months, and I think they're going to see some stark differences in where we stand.
On Wednesday morning, if you are behind by a big chunk of delegates, it may be because of Michael Bloomberg. Do you have a message to Michael Bloomberg?
No, I'm not presuming to send anybody a message. As I've said before, I respect the people running. They're going to make their own decisions, and we'll see what happens. But there's a long way to go.
Are you concerned, though, that Michael Bloomberg and in your candidacy, you're appealing to the same group of voters, the same sort of moderate, centrist, pragmatist, whatever you want to call that group of voters, and you split, you know, the combined number may be greater than Sanders, but Sanders may win these primaries because of that split?
Well, it may. Look, Chuck, I'm not being facetious here. We've had this discussion before in kind. I'm not a pundit. Look, all I know is why I think why I should be the nominee, why I think we have such an enormous opportunity, and why I think people they're not looking for revolution. They're looking for results. They want to make sure their work gets rewarded. They want to make sure they have access to health care, not a pie-in-the-sky notion that I can get it done, we can get it done immediately. They can be covered quickly. They want to make sure that they are in a position where their kids have access to an education. They want to make sure that we do something about climate change, and you know, and that's an international as well as national responsibility. And they're the things that have been in my wheelhouse my whole career, and I think I'm ready to get done.
There's no doubt Jim Clyburn's endorsement was a big deal to your candidacy. The exit poll indicated it was a big deal. And he's got a lot of things to say about your campaign. And I'm sure you've heard about this, but this is what he said yesterday. I did not feel free to speak out about it or to even deal with it inside because I had not committed to his candidacy. I have now. I'm all in, and I'm not going to sit idly by and watch people mishandle this campaign. Do you accept his critique that you've had people running your campaign that has mishandled this campaign?
No, I accept critique that we have to do a lot better. I accept the critique that it's just a matter of addition, not subtraction. I think the people running the top of the campaign are doing a great job. Inside each state we've had, there are different qualities and capabilities of people, and we just this is a matter of addition. As we move on, every primary, every caucus, we're attracting more people of talent to join us, and but I'm ready to and wide open to accept the criticism of people like Jim Clyburn, as I have with others. We have to get better, including criticism of me, how I can get better.
One of those issues has to do with organization in the Super Tuesday states, particularly out west, specifically California. One visit isn't going to fix your problems out there. I know you're going out there, I think, on Monday evening and spending there on Tuesday. What is a good night for you in California?
Again, I'm not going to speculate what's good and bad. Look, we have had limited funds to begin with, number one. Number two, the first two caucus and primary did hurt the campaign in terms of whether or not people thought that we were likely to win, and it did have some impact. But and look, I haven't had the kind of money that Bernie's been working on for a long, long time here, and he's done a great job of it. I haven't had that kind of staff. I have a significant number of endorsements of quality people, from the mayor of Los Angeles to the Barbara Boxer to people like Dianne Feinstein, and serious people in the state. But that's not enough. It's hard to put people on the ground when you haven't had the tens of millions of dollars other people have had.
Do you think you can win this primary before the convention, or do you think it's inevitable though that you and Sanders may have to work this out at the convention?
I think I can win it before the convention. But again, I'm not. Look, all I know is I think we're moving into constituencies that are constituencies. When they hear me, they've always been mine. Diverse communities, white working class folks, people with African Americans and Hispanics, people in the middle class, women in the suburbs. They're places I've always been very strong my whole career. One of the reasons why I was asked to join the ticket with Barack Obama in 2008, that hadn't changed. I think people know me. And it's a matter of my being able to get organizational structures on the ground in big states. And it looks good some places. It looks tough for others.
All right. Well, we will find out Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. In the meantime, Mr. Vice President, thanks for coming on, sharing your views, and be safe there on the campaign trail,
Thanks,
sir.
Chuck.
Hello from Washington. I'm Chuck Todd, and thanks for checking out the Meet the Press channel on YouTube. Click on the button down here to subscribe, and click over here to watch the latest interviews, highlights, and other digital exclusives.